Notts County Talk, back with another match preview. It's against Weymouth tomorrow, 3 p.m. I'm looking forward to it. Football at the minute, I think it's getting a lot of people through the lockdown. Lockdown 3 in England, it's getting rough now. Not being able to see friends and family and being isolated away. It's sort of one thing to look forward to. So, fingers crossed, long may it continue for Notts now, and we can just get a run of games together and perform well and get promotion out of this league. But if it is halted, you can understand it. But let's hope it isn't. Let's just hope it continues safely. But I will hand over to Tom now for players to watch and stats.
So the stats going into the Weymouth game, the side that I think I predicted to finish bottom in my pre-season predictions, not far off at the minute. But, they're doing okay. They're doing a lot better than Dover and Barnet at the minute. So they're currently sitting 21st place. They've got 15 points. But as I just said, they're not cut loose as Barnet and Dover are. They're only 2 points behind the next place team. Barnet and Dover are sort of 7, 8, 9 points behind, and they're really struggling. But Weymouth aren't cut loose, and that's a credit to them because they've come into a very tough division where we've seen anyone can beat anyone. Notts is 7th, 27 points. Now, we are a win away, really, from 2nd and 3rd place. We've got games in hand. Got 4 games in hand over Altrincham, who currently sit in 4th place. So all of that's looking really good. In terms of form then, Weymouth have the 2nd worst home form in the whole division. They have very poor defence at home as well. So they've played 11 at home and conceded 24. Very, very poor. They score quite a few. They score 13 at home, but to concede more than 2 a game at home is awful. And that's where Notts actually come into their own. We've had good clean sheets very recently against Solihull. We've had the Stockport clean sheet. So the home form's coming much different. Notts away form, however, is pretty poor at the minute. We do sit 18th, but again, we've played a lot less games. And if it was a points per game table of form, I'm sure we'd be a little bit higher up maybe. Weymouth have won the last 2, however. And the most noticeable win in that was a massive 1-0 win at home against Hartlepool, who Notts couldn't actually manage to beat, and we lost 1-0 to Hartlepool. So that's a very, very big win. And as I say, they were quite adrift, those 3 teams, but 2 wins in 2 games and away at Aldershot have really helped Weymouth get themselves back in the mix towards the bottom of that table. And Notts unbeaten in 5 away, as we know. Very, very good recently away, and actually home and away form combined have been very good. I think if you look at the last 15 games, Notts are 3rd or 4th in the form for the last 15 games. It was just a slow start and a few dodgy results that have cost us. So 3 players to look out for Weymouth. Josh Mccoyd is the first. Now, he's been around the Football League, Bournemouth most noticeably. He's never been a prolific scorer in the Football League, but he has actually got 5 goals in 15 so far this season and is their top scorer by some way. So he's definitely going to be one to watch out for. I always like to include the striker or top scorer, but I think Lacey and Rawlinson, I'm pretty sure, will have the confidence to hopefully nullify him. The next player is actually their goalkeeper, now Ross Ethan. Now I'm going to go with him because he's only played 3 games this season. He's 23 years old. He's been around Colchester and a few clubs, but he's not really had a starting spot now. He's played the last 3 and he's got 2 clean sheets, including that Hartlepool game. So he's really getting his first taste of first team football and a prolonged run in the team if he is to play against Notts. And he's going to have to be very good to stop Notts, because the way we were playing against Solihull and the way we took the goals, the keeper had no chance with those. So he's going to be really important to keep Notts at bay and hopefully frustrate the Magpies. And the final player is Sean Shields. Now, we know him at Notts. If I remember, the only thing I can really say is he was decent at crossing. Other than that, not too much. But it's just football, isn't it, for him to come in and probably score a hat-trick or something against us, something stupid. Always a squad player. I remember Shields at Notts' worst time, and sort of I was saying how he's a bit of a shining light at the worst time, and that just shows how bad we were at some points last season, because he wouldn't get a sniff anywhere near this team at the minute. So they're my 3 players to watch out for and the stats.
On to team news then. We've obviously got Brinley, who picked up a little bit of a head injury. I'm sure, he'll have recovered from that by now. But, they're obviously overcautious because it was a head injury. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is out of the starting lineup for tomorrow's game. Cal Roberts it's getting frustrating now, and we just want him back. We want to see him back. Hopefully he'll be back soon in the next week or two, and we can just see him do what he does best. But yeah, fingers crossed for Cal being back soon. Mccoyd is obviously going to be out for an extended amount of time. It's looking towards sort of 8 weeks now, if we're going off what Audley said when he had his operation. And Turner is back from his suspension, so should be interesting to see if he starts. I mean, for me personally, I don't think he should. I think Lacey and Rawlinson have been fantastic. So that takes me on to the lineup. Going for sort of a glorified 4-4-2, so 4-2-2-2, with like 2 defensive midfielders and 2 sort of wide wingers or attacking midfielders, if you will. So in goal, Slocum, easy for me. Fantastic keeper. He's pulled off a few saves in our game against Solihull, which, quite game-changing really, seeing as we won 2-0. Right back, I've gone Kelly Evans. I'm not entirely sure Brindley will be back. I'd like to think he will be, but because there's a little bit of doubt around him, I'm going to go Kelly Evans. I think Kelly Evans had a fantastic season. I'm sure he'll be happy with the game time he's getting, and, me and Tom really like him, so long may it continue. Centre-back pair, and I've already brushed over it, Rawlinson and Lacey. For me, say no more, they've been fantastic. Even last season, they got straight to fantastic partnerships, so fair play to them. Left-back, Calvin Miller. I think he does a great job. He's very physical, as you saw late on against Solihull. It may have looked a little bit of a silly challenge against a Solihull player, but, it's just sort of killing a bit of time, seeing the game out. So I think, I really like him. He's really good at left-back. I would like to see him a bit further up the pitch, but obviously, with the players that we have further up the pitch, I just can't really see it. So, yeah, Miller, left back. Now then, a change in the 2 defensive midfielders. I'm keeping Doyle, because he's the captain, he's the skipper. It's not going to change, is it? Not as much as if it's got anything to do with him anyway. I'm going to leave Reeves out this week, not because of any performance-wise or anything like that. I just think it's time for Wolf to get a chance in the starting lineup in the league. So, 2 defensive midfielders, I've gone for Doyle and Wolf, and I think he offers a little bit going forward as well. He does a few cheeky runs that we did see against Morpeth, so be interested to see how he fares if he does play. And on the right hand side of sort of the wingers, I've gone for Ruben Rodriguez. On the left hand side, I've gone for Enzio. I think he just works that little bit better on the left. He can cut in on his right and shoot, or as he did last game, cut in and pass it through and get an assist. So I think they're firing. When Rodriguez came on Wednesday night against Solihull, I thought he changed the game. He was fantastic. And say no more really. I think Enzio and Ruben do a job. Front 2 then. Up top, Kyle Wootton picks himself. I know I say that probably every preview, but he's just been fantastic this season, hasn't he? Since we loaned him from Scunthorpe last season, you can see he's just got better and better and better, and he tirelessly tries, and he's just a great player. He's a real asset to the club, I think. And his partner, I've gone for Jimmy Knowles. I feel like this is a game that he can come into. Another player where when he came on as a sub against Solihull, you could see the difference in the team. They were a little bit more creative. They were willing to try a little bit more, and I think that's what we have been lacking. So that is my lineup. I mean, that is my ideal lineup as well. I'd love to see that lineup. Whether we will or not, I doubt it. But, me and Tom have agreed that would be a fantastic lineup. Right then, score prediction for me. I think we need to steamroll these. If we're going to put really go for it and put it on them, I think we need to go 2-0. I'm going for a 2-0 Knots. If we can beat Solihull 2-0, we can beat Weymouth. So let's get it done. I'm going for Jimmy Knowles, because he always nicks a goal. And I'm going for Wootton. Hand over to Tom for his prediction.
I'm always quite reserved with my prediction. I went for a draw against Solihull. I went for a draw against Stockport. A minimal win against Torquay, I think. But I'm going to go for it this week. I think we're going to win 3-0. I think the way they clicked in those last 15 minutes, let the handbrake off with Knowles coming on and Rodriguez. We've got to see Knowles play. We've got to. He deserves it. Rodriguez, the assist was fantastic. Enzio, brilliant. And I think when you just play more than one creative player, like we just had Enzio, they can mark him and they can focus on him. So by dropping a Rodriguez on and a Knowles that can run in behind, automatically you've opened up the pitch for players like Enzio, and we saw pretty much soon after they came on, he got the run in. So I'm going to go 3-0. I think Kyle Wootton's on a massive run of form. He's going to go on one. I think he'll get 2, and I think Jimmy Knowles will get the other, because he deserves a starting spot in my opinion. So 3-0, hopefully I get it right. And I'd love to know what you think in the comment section below.